All right. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We're going to start with an opener from Coach, and then we'll get into questions. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Coach.
I just wanted to say I hope everyone had a good couple days spend with the family, and our bye week. We had the players a couple days and looked at the game, and then really went back and looked at ourselves, and looked to see how we can improve and changes we can make, and we got a couple of things, and we're going to go out there this week and work on them, and a couple injury situations had come up. I'm sure you guys will I'll answer all the questions that you have on that, and so right now we worked out our first day, and we're excited to be back, and we're looking forward and looking to this game this week at home.
Thank you. Let's go over to Smitter and then D-Rock.
Doug, I know you're going to get enough questions about the quarterback situation
it's okay.
coming up. However, does the team plan on making any trades before the deadline tomorrow that you know of?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of, none.
Okay. Would you like to see some moves made, or do you if Dave asked you for your opinion, what would you tell him?
I mean, my focus is on the players that we have here, so I don't know who's available, who's out there, what deals. I have no idea.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Smitter. Let's go D-Rock and then over to Hayes.
Hey, Doug, Gardner's thumb, what can you tell us about it? Is he out this week, and who's the guy that you are going to start in his place?
Yeah, a couple things. So I kind of go through the step by step. So after the game, we played the game, and they said, hey, his thumb is sore or thumb is hurt. So you don't really think much of it. And then the next day came in, and they said it was swollen, and then they were going to get X-rays. So that was Tuesday, and then Tuesday night, we find out, he has an injury to his right thumb. So the plan is to try to get him back to 100%, and I see him being inactive this weekend.
Who's your playing starter?
I'm going to play. I think both guys have to be ready. That's what I've told both players, that have to be ready. But I feel like I've seen a lot of Mike. I haven't seen a lot of Jake. So I'm going to go with Jake. This week, taking the reps and see how he does.
There was part of the report out there that Gardner originally got hurt on October 11. Is that the case? And if so, is he going to face any discipline for basically hiding an injury from you guys for several weeks?
Well, I think, I talked to Gardner about that. I didn't find out. I found out from the trainers and doctors about that first, I guess on Tuesday night or Wednesday. I can't recall, which day. So, I think, my emotion was, at first, there's a little level of, of frustration, and accountability. When someone is injured, they, obviously should report it. And then you kind of go back and you see, did you see anything that, might have given you the indication? I talked to Ben McAdoo. I talked to Jay. We didn't see anything. And then when Gardner came in, I just talked to him. I said, I can understand. One, if you're injured, you need to report it. You have to report it. I said, two, it's not like I don't understand, the competitiveness in you where, you want to continue to play. And I said, but you got to make smart decisions, and decisions that's what's best for the team. And that was it. So I don't think I'm going to get involved with, at least from my standpoint, of any disciplinary measure of just trying to learn and make sure the players understand that if you are injured, it can hurt the team, it can hurt yourself. And even though we appreciate the competitiveness, that you all have, that, it's in your best interest to make sure you report it. And this way, we don't put someone out there that's not, that's not really 100%.
Is it taking a risk a little bit to go with Luton because you don't have any idea about what you're going to get from him, and you at least have some idea of what you're going to get from Glennon because of his past experience?
Well, I think we'll figure out, what we're going to get. I think we'll see. I mean, everything's a risk, so why not?
All right. Thank you, D-Rock. Let's go over to Hayes and then John Reed.
Hey, Doug, what does Jake Luton need to show you this week to earn your trust in him to start against Houston?
We got a long way to go. I mean, it's going to start with these practices each day and preparation and, all of that. And I think we'll all know it when we see it. I don't think there's anything that's, eye-opening. Just go in there and see if he can operate and see how he plays against a live rush. I didn't know how he plays, without a live rush. And he's done some good things, and I'm sure there'll be some things that he wants to take back. And you just hope the good plays are good and the bad plays don't kill you.
How has he developed since training camp, since we were able to see him in your mind? How has he developed, and what's he like to coach, Jake Luton?
Both, all three quarterbacks, with me are kind of quiet, so, they go about their business, very businesslike. And, as far as the development, I thought, for a guy that, we took in the 6th round coming in, I thought he did some really good things. And, if we would have taken him higher, I thought, we would have been happy with the way he performed in training camp. And then I kind of put it on the back burner, and then I've just been focused on, the rest of the team. We haven't been playing well. So, my focus was how we can, get people in and how we can, better ourselves to get some wins. And, I think a lot will depend on how he plays, to see what the level of development has been.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it, Hayes. Let's go over to John Reed and then Mark Long.
How you doing, Coach?
Good.
Can you go back? There was a report that he had got. This is Minshew had got the X-ray after the game Sunday. Was that the first of your knowledge of the finger injury after the X-ray came back on Sunday night, or you said something about Tuesday?
Yeah, I was aware. I was aware Sunday after the game that he had a thumb issue. I'm saying that he hurt his thumb. So I just figured he just might have hit a helmet or something of that nature. He might have got an X-ray that night or not. I don't remember that. I don't remember. Tuesday came in. They said when he came in, his thumb was swollen, and then there were tests done, and then tests were sent to our doctor, another doctor, a hand expert. And Tuesday night is when I really felt like, okay, this is where it is. So I think I didn't really think it was anything at first, so I didn't really put much into it. He's a tough kid. And then when it came back Tuesday night and they sat down and went to the hand specialist and they came back, then I said, okay, this is real.
Mm-hmm. Just a different topic question, but you participated in the franchise with the public service about the voting. When you look back on the public service and getting people out to vote since the election is tomorrow, what's your general thoughts about that? I mean, I don't know if you can say it was a success at this point or not, but what's some of the things that you took away from being part of that?
Well, I think I think there's a much great. I think it's more awareness, John. Which I think is the most important thing about I was fortunate, probably later in my life. I'm not talking about when I was that young, but the conversations that we have with our children. My daughter is 18, and we got her registered to vote, and the conversations I have with my other children about that responsibility and what it does, and really trying to really look into who people are that are running for office, that are going to make decisions, that are going to, help or hurt or whatever it may be, and to be able to make a decision. It's a right that, you think about it. I mean, you have that right, and people fight for it, and there's other countries where you don't have that right. So I think it's created great awareness from everything that I've heard, during this week, listening to the news, is that it's going to be the largest voter turnout I think that this country's had. So, I think it's the right path. It's the right step. I think it's probably, you can't go back and say we should have done this earlier. And I'm not talking about football. I'm just talking about the awareness all over. But it's something that I hope that continues, and everyone becomes a part of it.
You probably can get this from Tad, but the NFL, everything is closed tomorrow. I mean, you're not working tomorrow.
Dave and I had that discussion today. For the players, obviously, it's all closed. And I think, obviously, if they need treatment, I don't believe it is for the coaches. But, like I told Dave, I said, we're going to make sure that we have time and everyone has time, to make sure that they get out. There's no set hours, for us. And I think it's important because we've gone this far, and to try to limit someone. I might have a coach that might want to go in person in the morning. Maybe he'll go later, or at times, because anyone that's been out there to vote, you try to time it up to where it's not as big of a line, what I'm saying, when you do it. So it can be all different hours in all different counties. So, that's I'm going to get the official word from Dave here later. We talked about it today, and then that's what I was planning on doing, because tomorrow we'll just kind of, we're ahead a little bit, obviously, because we're playing a division opponent. We played them a couple of weeks ago. We are doing some different things, so we're working on that. But everyone's going to have that opportunity, at least, for the people that I'm in charge of.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you, John. And we'll provide some more information tomorrow as well. Let's go over to Mark Long and then Gene.
Hey, Doug. Last week you were pretty fired up to do some outside the box changes and whatnot. Was swapping quarterbacks on your mind and a strong consideration even before you've got the results of Gardner's MRI?
Well, the way it went down, the way I was kind of conditioning myself was I wanted to take a break from the first 7 games that we played, and then, really take a look at ourselves, from more of an analytical standpoint, what I'm saying, for what we were doing well, what we weren't, then creating cut-ups and then go and watch the cut-ups. By that time he was injured. So, I didn't put much into it because I figured, now I'm going to have to play someone and we'll see how this guy does.
And then you made it pretty clear that you were going to do, or open to, at least some crazy, was your term.
Sure.
What'd you come up with?
You just wanted to say that. Did you wanted to quote me so you could say that. Don't get in trouble on it.
Listen,
I got you.
What'd you come up with? What kind of crazy shit are we going to see?
No, I don't know. When I made a statement like that, I was fired up, and there's things that you want to get done, and I think I've opened myself up, which is fine. To go out there and say, well, gosh, that was nothing, or hey, there was a little bit of something. But we've made some changes that maybe some people won't be able to notice, but they're drastic, for what we're doing. Anyone else going to quote me on it?
I know that's unbelievable. Let's go over to Gene and then Cole.
Kind of like your kids do that. Well, it's just a quote. That's what he said. I was just quoting him.
Hey, Doug. Just curious. You had Mike Glennon basically as your backup for most of the year. What was the tipping point to going to Jake? Is it just because you want to see what you have in this guy, whereas at least Mike Glennon's got a little bit more of a track record?
Yeah, I think that was it. I think that in the beginning it was, Gardner was playing, and I didn't feel that that Jake might have been ready right away to bring him up there. So Mike had the experience, so we brought him up there, and then Jake's done a nice job. So I think Jake has a high ceiling, and that's what that's my opinion of him. And I think it's what you said, Gene. I think not to take anything away from Mike, I got a ton of respect for him, and I told it to Mike, and I just said, I just want to see where this kid's at. If you're going to do something, that's maybe does that come under crazy from Mark? Huh? Okay, good, Mark. You shook your head. Yes. So
I'm gonna have a list by Sunday night. I'm gonna have a list of all the crazy things you've done.
But I think, Gene, you know what I'm saying? We might as well look. Might as well see what we have, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead and play him and let's go.
As a follow-up to that, do you have any sense at all of how long Gardner could be out with this injury? Is this something that could be 2 or 3 games? Did you think about putting him on IR?
No, no, not at the moment. No, I don't think it's going to be that. My conversation with Gardner was, hey, listen, I want to make sure that you're 100%, and when you're 100%, I want to see you out on that field, and I want to make sure I'm seeing, the throws and things that you made, during when we were in training camp and in the beginning of the year. I said, don't try to come out there and say, hey, you feel good, and you go out there and you're not throwing the ball well. So we're just working to get him back to 100%. I don't know what the time frame is. I really don't.
Would you expect that Gardner would go back in when he is 100%, or is that going to be contingent upon how Jake does while he's filling in?
You like to, as a coach, be able to say, hey, yeah, as soon as Gardner's ready, he'll be able to come back. But, I think when you're, at the record where we are now, we're at 1-6. We got to see where, what this kid can do. I mean, if this kid comes in and plays extremely well, then what? Then you're going to say, well, how come you're going to bench him and play the other kid? I just think it's common sense. I mean, opportunities create themselves, and if he does well, then we'll see where we're going and make that decision when the time comes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Gene. Let's do a couple more. Let's go to Cole and then over to John Shipley.
All right, Doug, I'm going to stick it under crazy stuff and keep it clean for the kids. Does having a rookie quarterback give you more chances to do crazy stuff, or does it limit you? Sorry, Mark. Does it limit you with regards to the kind of crazy stuff you could do on offense or outside of the box things on offense?
Well, I mean, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that he's successful, right? I mean, that's the one thing you do when you bring in a young quarterback who hasn't played in the NFL. So, we're looking to that. So, yeah, I mean, it could lessen it. I mean, that's the first thought, what I'm saying, when you do it, and then you see what he does during the week and you try to, put stuff on it, to make it look better.
So based on what you see in practice, is there anything that you would see in practice that would make you say we can't put the rookie in there at this point, or do you have to see what he does against the live rush? Is that where you are in terms of evaluating him at this point? You got to see how he does on the field.
The practice field or the game field? Your
Terms,
question is, am I going to watch him this week and not play him, or am I going to watch him?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm gonna watch him this week and I'm gonna play him.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I feel comfortable. I mean, I've watched him enough. It's not like I haven't, but I've watched him enough, and now it's going to be how he does when he gets in there when the bullets are flying.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, thank you, Cole. Let's do 2 final questions. Let's go to Shipley, and then we'll finish with Demetrius.
Hey, Coach. I know it's early in the week, but is there any kind of injury update on Miles Jack and Jared Wilson and Tyler Eifert?
Yes. Miles Jack practiced at a limited today. I think he'll be back. I think if he'll play. The next person is who Eifert's going to play. So he's fine.
And Jared Wilson.
And Jared right now is scheduled to play. All 3 are scheduled to play.
Okay. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Sure. No problem.
Thanks, Shipley. Let's finish with Demetrius.
Look, Shipley just
Coach,
left. You don't even want to listen to Demetrius' question.
Nope, he doesn't care. Obviously, you came into this season with an emphasis on the tight end position. You got Tyler Eifert. The production wasn't that great last season. This season, it hasn't been maybe up to par. Can you put your finger on why that might be, or what situations might have occurred?
Yeah, I think I thought we did well in the training camp, and then things didn't turn out the way they did in the games, and I think Ben Ellison's been a surprise. You know what I'm saying? It'd be probably in a Y for us. I think you'll see him in there more as the Y. He's done a nice job, and I think Tyler's had a couple of weeks now to rest, and James is coming back from a little bit of rest. We limit him, so we're hoping to get that going. It's not it's obviously it wasn't what we had planned. We wanted more production. Obviously, you can pretty much say that across the board, but I'm really hoping that those guys start to come on, because that would really help us.
Appreciate it.
Sure.